everybody, and welcome to today's live session with myself and Yafit. We're going to talk about how to increase open rates for your B2B email campaigns, specifically when you're sending them out to a cold email list. So in other words, they're not customers who've ever dealt with you before. And it's brilliant because this is certainly an area of specialization that Yafit is brilliant. Her and her team are so good at. And then we're going to show you how you can send the emails and also then use digital to help you increase those open rates. So welcome to today. If you've got any questions, please put them below and we'll do our very best to answer them. So hi Yafit, how are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So Yafit, tell us a little bit about, do you think email is still relevant today? Because it's a big question. A lot of people ask me, there's a lot of people that say, oh, email's dead and email's dying. What do you think? What's your experience? And maybe tell us a little bit about maybe a client that you've worked with that you've had some good success with email recently.
So I absolutely don't think email is dead. I think that it's a very important marketing tool, and we use it in most of our campaigns that we work with clients. And I think that the reason it isn't dead, there's two main things about email. One is the cost. So there's basically very little cost to send an email. And the other one is the fact that it's so measurable. So you could tell exactly who opened and which links have they clicked on. And you can then retarget the campaign and really structure your follow-up in a successful way because of that. So I agree that that some people don't read emails, and it's true that we get far too many emails. And so it's hard to stand out in that market, which is why you have to be really specific with the market that you choose to email, get some really good data and make sure that your email is very creative. So, for example, recently it was a campaign that we actually did together, Helen and I, for something that a project we're working on together. And we thought, okay, well, the click rates weren't as high as we'd like, so we added a button just saying to people, click here for a tailored solution, and the click-through went through the roof. So it is sometimes the right thing to do, and it's just being creative, talking to other people about how they like to see emails, what they like to see in them, what sort of stuff helps them, reading and listening to some ideas from the network, etc., is always helpful. So just sending out really benign, boring emails is no good. Like anything else, you've got to work at it, but certainly is still relevant.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the interesting thing for me is, the things that we're going to talk a little bit about the type of content you should have in an email. But we've got a few measures. You mentioned measurement, and I think that's really key as well. I think like digital, what I love is data. Data helps us to improve all the time. So the three things I know that are really important to measure in email are open, click-through rates, and then that conversion rate. So maybe tell me a little bit about, if the open rates aren't great, what are we looking to improve? What is it telling us if the open rates aren't good?
So you always need to go back to the quality of data and how specific it is, and the quality of your message and how specific it is. Because we live in such a busy world, people are full, they get so much targeted stuff come to them. It's not enough to just be talking to them about your product or how it would help them. You really need to think a little bit further as to, what would make them look at it, what would make them open it. And so your messaging and how you write the email, what links do you include in it, making it really useful to people, not talking about selling, the calls to action and the options people have to engage with you from the email. Giving the idea that lots of people can do different things. So some people prefer to then go to your website, look at it themselves and maybe ask for a quote. Other people would like to get a phone call. Other people would like to email you themselves, etc. So it's giving all those options to people so everyone can interact with the email. The other thing to look at is the quality of your data, because so many people, end up using data that they've had in the company for years. So historical data, old clients, old contacts. It's no good. You need to be really, really clear on who you want to target, and then go and find a fresh list that covers that market, because it's good data is invaluable, and there's so many options in terms of lists out there that you really have got to find a broker that can do do a good job in finding the right data. So that's really
yes, and then also having, I think, tailored messages for tailored lists. I mean, if you're trying to talk to one particular audience about their specific problem, you don't want that to go to everybody. So
No.
I mean, if your headline is very specific to that audience, and the other thing that I know about with emails is to keep abreast of the good technology. Understand the tech as well. Are your emails going into spam? And there's great tools to be able to check that. Is your technology working? I mean, sometimes there may be a problem with the tech that you're using to send out to cold lists as well. And also just making sure that, they're going out at the right time, and that sort of boring technology stuff is so vital, and people forget it sometimes.
It is. I mean, I think we moved to sending stuff a lot earlier in the morning last year, and it made a massive difference to our open rates. Then it doesn't work with some target markets. Some of our clients, are more, they're trying to get to audience at home. So afternoon is better. So it's just really, you're right. It's thinking about that, and also doing stuff like authenticating your domain is really key. And most of the software providers will allow you to do that, and that means that the email then comes from you. It doesn't look like a spoof email, etc. So that's quite important. So yeah, there's lots of things to think about to make it work.
Fantastic, and I know from adding, so the content in an email, there's three things that I know that you should be thinking about. And one of them is adding value. So in other words, making about the customer, making whatever you do, think about them, not about you. Like, don't talk about yourself all the time. And I suppose that's just like anything we do, whether it's on social or whether it's in email. Make it interesting for the person you're trying to interest. The second thing I know about is also that you've got to make it human. So it's got to be, remember there's a person at the end of it. And then you and I were earlier on talking about, which I thought was really interesting, is about using social proof, so case studies. And I spoke about the fact that if you didn't have your own case study, you could use somebody else's case study and analyze it. And I thought it was such a clever way to use a case study. But do you agree that case studies are so important in everything we do? I know you and I love them and hammer them home all the time in the B2B environment.
Yeah, no, I think they're really key, but I think it makes sense to build a campaign. So obviously you need to be looking at doing this over time, and I know we will talk about this again, but you need to build a campaign from kind of creating the pain in kind of relating to people's pain first of all, and really painting the picture of the problem that they have, and then looking at solutions in general, and then looking at your own solution and introducing case studies and social proof. I think you need to have that rather than kind of doing it to people on the first time you send an email out, because it's about building that audience and building the interest. And if you kind of show all your cards the first month, then you kind of lose that interest quite quickly. But agreed that obviously case studies are really key, and I love this idea of using case studies by association. I think that's something that we can definitely look at. So
absolutely, and I think it's really interesting that you've mentioned that word campaign, and I think that's the thing you and I bang on about with all our customers, is this idea that it's not a one-off. It does take time. Everything takes time, and you need to plan that campaign from awareness right through to conversion, and that includes emails and it includes digital. How can you get people to be aware of you, problem aware, and then become, probably start thinking, oh, actually, these guys look interesting. They look like they can help us to deliver what we need. Then offering them the social proof that you can do it. And then saying, okay, book that call or come to our event or whatever it is. So then the conversion happens. And it doesn't happen in the first email. It never does. I mean, small conversions happen the whole way through. And you should have little conversion points right throughout your email campaign. But it's not, the conversion is not make a sale.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. And you said earlier about getting better every day. Well, It's the same with a marketing campaign. You've got to have little goals. So, it's the first hook might be a live event you're doing. The second hook might be an actual seminar. You've got to have little things developing the interest of the clients. It's, just talking to people about, let's meet up. It can be difficult. So it's about building that awareness over a period of time, definitely.
Yes, and I agree with you. And even in digital, we always talk about those little goals, things like watch the video. Because once you watch the video, you can build an audience. And that's a small goal. And a lot of people think, oh, the first thing I want to do is sell. But you don't. You want to build trust and you want to get people to like you. And, And things like video really do that. So I know from an email perspective, we were talking about, well, how does digital really add? Because when we work together, that's what we do. We approach it from which is direct mail and telemarketing and email, with mine thrown in. And so in email campaigns, the way digital really supports that is I would then take that email list and create an ad campaign to go to that email list. And the ad campaign it would drive trust and awareness of the company's brand. And it would also then help increase the open rates by retargeting them. Once the email's gone out, maybe a week later, I could retarget the people that didn't open the emails with another message to help them to go to the content we want them to see in the first place. So it's great you're getting them from both sides. And when they're on Google, we're going to get them back into our to take action with the same sort of delivery rates that or the same delivery goals that we've got in the email campaign. So they really, really work so well together, the two things.
It's about casting your net, isn't it? It's about remembering that what's important is that you're targeting the right people. How you target them is only important from a point of view of making sure it's relevant. So you don't want to do things that are really relevant to that target market and that they'll never look at. But as long as it's things that we think that are relevant to them, a number of touches is always better than just the one trick pony, or doing just the one thing and trying again and again and again. You want people to come to you from different directions, and that gives you that option, is looking at digital as well as direct.
Yes, and that idea, I love that idea of, yes, they need to see the different touches. I think it's something like, I think it's 12 touches, and it might be more these days. So, you at least need to be touching them 12 times, as in, they see your face, they see your logo, and the brand starts to assimilate with them, and they start to think, who are those people? I keep seeing them and they look very interesting. What they're doing is valuable. Then you're likely to get them as a customer down the line when the time is right, when they've got the right problem that you can help solve as well.
Definitely.
So, Yafit, thanks so much. I think it's been, hopefully it's for everybody else, it's been helpful. You must go out when you're doing your email campaigns. Let us know how, if there's anything that you struggle with, or if there's something that we can help with as well. Because Yafit and I really can come in and either just do a workshop day with you where we can analyze what you're doing and see how we can help you improve. Or otherwise, you can work with us for a campaign as well, or ongoing, like a lot of our clients do. They work with us for a very long time. And it means that you can carry on with your day job, and we can actually concentrate on making sure your email campaigns are effective. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and send us a message down below, and we'll get back to you and book in a call to see if you're a good fit for us as well. I think the quote that I loved, and I said to you earlier, is that I'd heard it today, is someone said, it's not about being perfect today. It's about being better than we were yesterday, and using data to help us get better all the time. And I thought, wow, that really resonates between the two of us. I think that's exactly how we feel when we work with customers. Are you right? Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely. Well, thanks, Yafit. Guys, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and we'll have another very interesting topic. If there's anything that you'd like us to specifically talk about, let us know. Otherwise, goodbye, and have a brilliant week ahead of you. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye, everyone.
Bye.